We're happy to welcome all those who are listening on radio via WeFM. We've got Vibes FM, we've got Spice Capital Radio, we've got 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville, right along out of Brooklyn, New York. We've got the NDC Facebook online platform and also YouTube. So, welcome to another NDC Heartbeat episode on another beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada. Hope you're having a great time. Well, first of all, we do apologize for this late start, but it's after Carnival. What can I say? Things happen. But in studio with me is the chairman of GTA, the Grenada Tourism Authority, and that's Mr. Randall Dolan. And with him is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Spice Mass Corporation, Cecil Noel. Welcome to Heartbeat once again. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure to be back.
Fantastic. And we should have had Senator the Honorable Quince Britton with us this morning. He's coming all the way out of Victoria, but he might be able to join us later on, either on Zoom or on our telephone segment, which we'll open up later on during the course of the afternoon. And we should also have had Flying Turkey out of Brooklyn, New York, but due to some technical mishaps which we experienced this afternoon, we may not be able to join us on Zoom, but certainly on the telephone segment. So let's get right into the show. This afternoon we'll be talking post-carnival Spice Mass activities. What an event it was. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for having us again.
Great, fantastic. Let us start off with the man who made it happen. Tell us, I mean, this has been just a phenomenal Spice Mass this 2025. What has caused it? And my goodness, it seemed to have gone flawless. Not even the police reported any incidents whatsoever of misbehavior. This is a AAA plus for Grenada. Tell us about it.
Thank you very much. And first of all, a very good afternoon to your viewers and listening audience globally, locally. And yes, as you said, it was a lot of effort into it. And I must say part of the experience or the success of the Spice Mass experience, I mean, there are a number of them. I can talk of the support in terms of sponsors. I could talk of the support in terms of government and any contribution. But of course, for most part, I think the whole question of marketing Spice Mass and the brand was extremely key. You know, we have listened to our audience, we have listened to our people over the years and coming out of the symposium of last year as well. And we took and made, some of the initiatives to ensure that it's properly promoted, the brand is well made known throughout. And of course, the question of the staff, the board, and all our stakeholders playing their part has been tremendous. So, I just want to thank everyone as early as now for the support, for the contributions being made in the different areas to ensure that we had a really successful Spice Mass 2025.
Congratulations to you and the entire government and its team and so forth. And we have the chairman of the GTA. I understand not even one hotel room was available.
Everything sold out.
Wow.
Flights sold out.
Woo.
And I think that, you can tell from the numbers, just being an observer, that the numbers have definitely increased year over year. Last year, in 2024, we actually jumped 30%. That's a massive number.
Wow, that is huge.
And this year, we're in the ballpark between 5 to 8%. We're still tabulating the numbers to try to understand, make sure that we have them correct, reported accurately. But that is a sort of the increase. That may sound small, but that is quite significant. Because any time a business is growing, or an economy growing 5 to 8% a year is tremendous, right? And we also have to be cognizant that with all the rooms continuously being sold out, there isn't that much more accommodation available. So you start looking at so exactly. So we're looking at at the fact that we have sort of maximized everyone that can come in at this point into the destination, because we continue to promote, we continue to do what we have to do, we continue to develop a wonderful Spice Mass product, led by Spice Mass Corp. And we do have the support for that product and development. And, with us lending the support that we need to with Spice Mass and promoting this event internationally, and ensuring that we have the right airlift. We have the capacity right now, but we're sort of maxed out, which is a good problem to have.
Well, indeed. I was really taken aback. I went to an event that is being put on by international promoters and so forth. And they were guy was saying, crop over in Barbados is nothing compared to what Grenada is offering, and Trinidad is shaking in their boots.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. And the reality, I mean, when you look, for example, on social media, whether it's TikTok or Facebook, the comments that we see being received from the people outside diaspora in the region, it's really heartwarming, because what we keep hearing is, even on a comparative basis, is that they're really saying Spice Mass and what we offer is, may I say, is or soon becoming really the premier carnival activity in the region.
Yeah.
So again, we'd be really happy about that. I mean, I've not heard any of those influencers, if I may call them so, in terms of anything that sounds not on the positive side as it relates to Spice Mass. So it's all goes well for us. And as a matter, as always, I mean, for us not take it for granted that what we did in 2025 was good, but of course to use that and the experience of it to build to ensure that going forward it's even better. We listen more and we do more to ensure that the entire brand, the entire product is one that is much better.
Well, the Jab Jab brand and the Monday Night Mass brand, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm hearing that this is unique only to Grenada.
Yes, it is. And I remember, for example, over the last 2 years, again, working along with your team, Randall, going off to Trinidad. When we talk about Spice Mass, and I do my presentation, and I mentioned the Juve and the Monday Night Mass, those were actually even that you heard people saying there's no match for it anywhere else.
Yeah.
As I would say this to you, I remember being in Trinidad on one of the stations, and people were calling in stating that they will come just for the Juve and leave the money and go back home. Now that may sound like a simple statement, but I think when we hear statements like those, we ought to be mindful of what people see and how much respect and love people have for example, a Juve. So it tells a big story, as simple as a message as it may be.
Absolutely.
And the whole fact is that we're building on niches, right?
Yeah.
Because how do we differentiate ourselves from all other carnivals around the region? Everybody plays fancy mass. So you can't say Grenada has the fancy mass, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have something unique in our Juve. We have something unique with that. Now, this is a great part of our culture, right? And the Monday Night Mass is a great product that we've developed over the years. And there's great participation in that as well. And then if you look at the totality of Spice Mass, coming to this beautiful destination where it's safe, again, no reports of any incidents.
Exactly.
You could just really focus on enjoying yourself and enjoying your time here in Spice Country. So I think that, when we focus on those niches, we have to always double down on them because that is what gives us a competitive edge over the competition.
Yeah, it's just really amazing. I mean, friends of the Trinidad, I can't believe not even one incident you all had. Nobody coughed on nobody or anything. Nope.
But it's
just partying.
Yes, it's also important to note, I think our traditional mass, and it's growing, and when I say growing in terms of what we're doing to highlight them, it's also very important, even from a sponsorship standpoint. As we continue to engage, potential sponsors, it is one of the areas that people see as extremely important that we need to work on and grow. And people are willing to assist in those areas. So it's really important, again, that we take note of that and work to develop our traditional mass. It is really unique to us. And in a lot of cases, the traditional mass, other islands, but they don't play the same that we do. So we have a Shawnee and Vaco, and they have other things, other places. So again, I think these are part of the niche that we have to do and continue to do. But as Randall stated, that security and safety aspect where people come and feel that freedom to just enjoy themselves without worrying is great.
No, that's number one.
And having said that, I really want to say a really special thank you to the Commissioner, Randy Connaught, and his team. And we work really closely. And when I say work closely, we did not just wait on Spice Mass to launch, but we were in meetings prior to the actual or coming of Spice Mass, and a lot of what we plan to execute to ensure not just the safety but the face of the security on the street, they came to fruition. So I just want to say thanks to the RGPF, the commissioner and his team for an excellent job.
They did a fantastic job indeed.
But I like to thank them even from the tourism standpoint throughout the year, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they always, we meet with them, you know, and we work closely with them as well. So they did a great job for Spice Mass, and congratulations to them as well. But also just getting that recognition year round, right? Especially when we have a lot of visitors in town.
Absolutely.
They do their best with what they do have. And, you know, and we just like to really commend them on the wonderful job that they're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard that the commissioner and his team met with some of the so-called well-known roughnecks, and they were told, behave all yourself for carnival, otherwise you're going up the hill, and there for a long time. So you look as though they listened.
See, so whatever works, you know, let's make sure it keeps working.
Yes, it
Keep our community safe.
Absolutely.
And I think that the actual presence of the commissioner and his senior team on the ground during the event, it had a very impactful, you know,
definitely led by example.
But to see the commissioner himself, Juve
right
morning just walking around normally, no security attached, or maybe there was, you know, unofficial, and more so the Prime Minister playing jab in that large space of unknown persons. I mean, where in the world you could have a Prime Minister playing in such a large gathering of individuals, half of which you don't know, maybe more? I mean, it just speaks to the security and safety and unity of the country.
Absolutely.
It does.
And also the buy-in from the top.
Which is key.
So I mean, is that we don't just talk about playing it, but you show you that the Prime Minister can safely walk, you know, and play, you know, in jab, essentially, and enjoy ourselves. Like everybody can enjoy it because we all partake.
Because I'm sure this must have been a security nightmare for the police, for the Prime Minister's security detail. How do you protect a Prime Minister where you have thousands and thousands of persons flocking to get to him, to his attention?
He has a great detail. He has a great team.
But I think it speaks more to the security of Grenada and the peacefulness of its people.
It does.
Yeah,
so because I mean, the Prime Minister pretty much, was active during the season in terms of attending events. From Queen's Show, Soca Monarch, the March Gras.
Yeah, he was at most of the events.
Exactly, and then also the coming out Monday and Tuesday. So it really shows that collective buy-in. It shows the destination is a safe Grenada is a safe destination, and if the Prime Minister could walk the streets, you know, so can you, so can all of us.
Yeah,
absolutely. How he keeps up with that schedule, I don't know. And I might ask his press sec some other time. Tell me, there were one or two little hiccups here and there. We don't want to highlight it, but we need to recognize it. Notice that there were some complaints about the judging. A situation which, of course, has psychological impact. Do you have any comments on that?
But the comments I will make on those, for example, in the case of judging, I believe that going forward, what needs to be done, we really need to make that special effort to ensure, one, that we have a larger pool from which we can have judges for all of the events. Because we notice in some cases the pool is getting smaller for various reasons. But apart from having that larger pool from which to pull judges, we also need to have judges better qualified in terms of what they're going to be doing. It's something that must happen, and we need to look at as early as possible in terms of, you know, that capacity building. It's something that definitely needs to happen. Of course, as we are all aware, when coming to judging, there always the feeling that, you know, you'll always have the feeling that who went feel happy and who don't win feel something, you know, went right. So that's my contribution towards judging. I think we really need to work on that assiduously to ensure that we have a greater pool and a more qualified pool in terms of the job.
Can we look at introducing artificial intelligence, AI, into judging?
I'll be honest with you, I have not given that any consideration. But like everything else, I imagine it's something that can be done.
Of course. AI, I mean, don't be scared of AI. AI is a tool to help and to enhance.
It is. Yeah.
And certainly they can contribute. You know, that app can certainly contribute to judging. I mean, the judges might disagree with AI.
But you're back at the same place, right?
Yeah, exactly. It happens all the time. I mean, there were so many different aspects tried over the years, from local to foreign and everything else. So AI may just be one. But whichever way, I think as a people, when we come to change, you know, it's not always easily accepted. So even if that comes, we will expect that there'll be some aspect of it that people will be still iffy about. Yeah. What
The other area is the March Gras show. There is a feeling that it needs something additional to give it the hype and the attention of Soca Monarch.
Exactly what it is, I can't say I have my fingers on it. For most part, the March Gras, as well as we know it to be, and as it continues to be even now, it's really highlighting the calypsos, the calypsonians, and as well as the creative aspect of it in that of the king and queen of the bands. If there are going to be some other element, for most part, I think what we also aim to do is look at what or who we can use as guest performances to basically fill in those slots. But in keeping with what it is by in terms of its name, that Big Sunday, that is what it has always been traditionally. And you know, we try keeping it that way, of course, looking at what can be done to help make it a little more interesting, a little bit more creative as we go along.
But I think that they did a really good job this year with the March Gras show.
Yeah, I thought
a good performance. There were good songs, and also a pretty good turnout.
It's extremely good turnout.
So I think that, you know, it shows that, you know, Spice Mass is definitely heading in the right direction. You know, where they're improving the product. I mean, we're not going to necessarily get to where we want to be overnight, but we're sort of making strides in the right direction, which is, I think, very encouraging.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
But I think the challenge comes about in another sector, in another segment. Juve finishes pretty late.
Starts late.
And then you get a lot of the players in Juve and the gatherings and so forth are the same persons playing in the Monday event. So the parents, they have the kids going to the events and so forth on the Monday.
And that's two events.
Yeah.
You know, we have the fancy mass, and then they have Monday night mass.
Is that back-to-back?
No, but I'm hearing you, and the truth is I'm actually jumping ahead of the discussion, because what happened this year, which is what we planned to do and actually executed, we asked people to be mobilized early for the Juve, and when 5 o'clock, bang 5, we started the Juve in terms of the movement. And the good thing about it from a Spice Mass perspective, having realized what happened over the years, we had our own music truck, and so we had a number of people we encouraged to be a part of that as a grouping. I wouldn't want to call it a band per se. So when we had our fireworks go off at 5 o'clock, we started. And by 9:30, the carnage and the music on the carnage was already off. A little more coming over to the port side and Kirani James, those were a little later and being shut down. But for most part, I think the shutdown of the music and getting people off the streets to be able to return for the other events, I think we went very well with that. Again, with the assistance of the police, you know. So, I mean, mention was made of I will just jump ahead to Monday Night Mass. Monday Night Mass, I did promise people that by 8:30, 9 o'clock, we expect at least the first band to be on the Kirani James Boulevard, and it was. And again, I have, the truth be told, I have not heard any negative, and I'm not saying there may not be, but I have heard just a lot of positive in terms of the Monday Night Mass and the fact that we say we're going to ensure it happen, and it did happen. You know, we had the bands coming across, they came across, and it was a nice fluent movement. So again, I think we are on the right track, as said. Always room for improvement, always things to look at in terms of what can be done and how it can be done better.
All right. Well, regarding the Monday Night Mass, okay, traffic really was at a really stiff moment. Vehicles are parked all the way up in Springs and that sort of thing. So I'm wondering whether if there is a possibility the land area that abounds the Lagoon Road water, the sea there, I mean, for the future, can we expand this into the water a bit more so that the bands go along the water edge So you leave all the land space there plus the road for spectators.
Am I understanding you to mean landfill?
Landfill.
Okay.
Or put a boardwalk, a wide boardwalk,
Okay.
so vehicles can go across.
But in
Something
addition
else,
to that, I would say this carnival, I mean, I use public transportation
Mm-hmm.
to go around, right?
Yeah.
Because I realized that I would be
Yeah.
moving from Grand Anse to go park in Springs and just make more congestion, right? And frustration for myself. And I was very happy to use the public bus service,
Yeah.
right? So you got some soca music, you got some
True.
vibes.
Well, we still
But
need
at the
to
end of the
improve
day,
on that.
but we do
Yeah.
need to improve on that because, right? Because, but I think that what it shows that there is a system that we can use, but we're so accustomed to driving right up
Yeah.
to where we need to go
That's good.
and park right there.
Yeah.
That is something that we have to start reimagining. That hey, maybe just park in Grand Anse and all the parking that's available. There's bus services that will take you to the bands, right? And there's bus services that will take you back because that's how I actually moved around. For the Monday and the Tuesday was that I use the public transportation because I was like, I probably have not used it pretty much all year, but Carnival I did because I understand the constraints with parking. There's a lot more cars that's available. That's on the road right now.
Yeah.
And you just have to just try to make an exception to that. So once there is sort of demand, I'm sure that, the buses will come out and realize that, they're fulfilling that demand. And these buses were running around the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, I could only speak for Grand Anse. I'm not sure about the rest, but I think that is something that we really do have to encourage that, leave your cars at home, use public transportation. You're drinking, don't drive, get home safely, use the buses.
Great. Fantastic.
But and Randall, we have in fact did just that in terms of encouraging the general public to do things like carpooling and use the buses. It's something that we did in terms of our PR and something that we did on just about every event or every opportunity I got to reach out to the public to encourage them to do that. And some of the things that were highlighted back then, and you just mentioned them, is that by doing that, we not only will the traffic congestion be ease up, but the question of things like accident, because you have more people who may have gone out party, either be tired or in some case a little bit intoxicated.
That's correct.
We have less of that on the road. So it's something we encouraged over the season, and it's something we will continue to encourage. And I think even the transport corporation,
Correct.
they work with us as well on that. Even had things like Sober Zone at some of the events at the stadium,
Right.
and help us to promote that whole question of carpooling and the safety of driving.
Okay.
Yes, a sort of shift that we need to have because you look at the congestion.
Yep.
You're in tight spaces, you're tired, you might be intoxicated. It's not a good idea. So I would encourage that, to alleviate that problem, leave your car home.
Yeah.
For those 2 days, because and I know it's not an issue of walking, because we're walking from Grand Anse, we're walking the town, we're walking back.
Easy.
So, what more you could walk just to walk up your gap to go home.
Yeah,
So-
well, maybe within the next 5 years we may have railroad service,
We never know.
rail cars above ground, and you just hop on and hop off, boom, you're gone.
For example, you made the comment out in terms of landfill. I mean, I guess there had to be some kind of policy decision or something like that. But there are a lot of different things that we need to look at. I was at a hotel yesterday, and the hotelier was actually saying that she's looking of the possibility of getting some open areas somewhere for next year, maybe she can use and put down tents. Because the people that are coming in, apparently they just want to be here. They're coming in these large numbers,
Yep.
and they don't mind if they have to even live in a situation similar to that of camping.
Yep.
And I thought that sounds,
Of course.
That sounds good.
right. Yeah.
With security around
With security around.
Set up a
So,
camping
you know, we
station.
have to
GT will have
think
some
outside the
word about the
box.
license things about that, but
Well, I'm just saying, but the point I'm
They're going to say
making,
that's carnival.
but the point I'm making really is that I think we are at a stage where we have to look outside
Yeah,
of the box.
that's correct.
For almost any and everything else, whether it's had to do with airlift or how we get on island by ferry or whatever, and the accommodation. I mean, hotel not going to be built in a year, right?
Yep.
So we have to be creative in terms of what we do, and as we continue to promote and as the brand get better known and more people come, there are things we'll have to do. Things we
Absolutely.
have to
Well,
do.
what we will do therefore now is to take a short message from the Minister responsible for culture, Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas. And so as that has been queued up, I just want to say also that we'll be opening up the lines after that presentation and to ask the public to contribute as to what the experiences were, what the ideas can be, how can we better Spice Mass, if there is such a term existing. And so we go from there. But while we're waiting on that, I just want to ask both of you gentlemen, what else do you think can be done? It's a difficult question, isn't it? For Spice Mass.
Oh.
Or all has been done?
No. I would never say all has been done. I think that there are things that can be done. The whole question of maybe, we talk about the brand. I think we're very well set in terms of the brand and how the brand is promoted. But now that that is being done, I think we have to find some serious ways of getting, for example, our young people more involved. And I'm saying that in a very general sense. For example, if you look at the steel band, we see a lot of people involved in it. But I think things in terms of the creative aspects, building costumes, designing costumes, getting more young people on the road, in terms of the portrayal of masqueraders, I think it's something that needs to happen because apart from the creative aspect of it, in my opinion, ought to be a lucrative business to get involved with. I think these are some of the things we really need to do in terms of building our product to that level where we can safely say in a more assertive manner, it is truly ours.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, at this time, we'll take a break and listen to the message from Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, Minister responsible for culture.
Fellow Grenadians, visitors, friends of culture, and lovers of the mass, what a spectacular season it has been when stars align. Spice Mass 2025 has exceeded every expectation, delivering on our proud promise, the best mass by far. Today, I stand here overflowing with gratitude and pride. First, I offer my heartfelt congratulations to all our champions whose talent, creativity, and dedication lit up our stages and streets. To Muddy, our unstoppable soca monarch, you shook the very ground we stood on. To Golden, our soulful and irresistible groovy monarch, you captured our hearts. To Scholar, our legendary calypso monarch, you reminded us of the power of words and melody. To Miss St. John, Alia Knight, our radiant carnival queen, you earned that crown with grace and poise. To the winners of the road match, Little Kerry, the captivated mass bands, traditional mass, jab jab, old mass, Monday night mass, and fancy mass, Comanchero Steel Orchestra, and all other victors across the competitions, your artistry has inspired a nation and delighted the world. To all those who entered the various competitions, commendations on your outstanding performances. But Spice Mass is not built on talent alone. It strives because of people. Therefore, I extend sincere thanks to our stakeholders, the Spice Mass Corporation, subcommittees, sponsors, music producers, cultural groups, law enforcement, cleaners, private promoters, and all those who work tirelessly behind the scenes. To our patrons, your energy fueled every performance. To our visitors, you came, you danced, you celebrated with us, and you will forever be part of our story. And to our media partners, thank you for carrying our culture to every corner of the globe. Spice Mass 2025 was not just a festival, it was a living, breathing celebration of our identity. We showed the world that Grenada's culture is not only alive, but soaring to new heights. Let us continue to grow, innovate, and preserve what makes our carnival truly ours. Until we meet again for Spice Mass 2026, may the rhythm, never leave your heart, and may we always remain the best mass by far. Thank you, and may God bless Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
The Grenada Cultural Festival Group invites you to the 17th Annual Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique Day. Bring the whole family out to celebrate and experience the culture with live performances from Grenadian artists, crafts and food on sale. Sunday, August 17th, 2025. All Boys and Girls Field, 777 Rutland Road, Brooklyn, New York. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Performing live, Loverman, Slaughter, Skinny Button, Westways, King Blake, Angel Joseph, and so many more. Special performances by Quick USA, the Greenhouse Drummers, the Big Drum Dancers, Spice Generation Dance Company, and Jab Jab Family. Featuring from Grenada, Conception Dance Theatre. There would be lots of activities for the kids, bouncy castle, face painting, and so much more. Your MC, Big Bums. Get your tickets online, GrenadaDay2025.eventbrite.com. It's Grenada Day 2025, Sunday, August 17. This event is sponsored by Ariza Credit Union, Grenada Cooperative Bank, National Lottery Association, Apple Bank, Williams Funeral Services, Allstate Insurance, La Bay Market, the Coldpot Bar and Grill, New Radio Digital, and Crossroad Radio. Come out and celebrate the culture, rain or shine. This activity is not sponsored or supported by NYC or the Department of Education.
In Grenada, after Carnival, it's kind of the cool down period, but it seemed not to be cooling down. There was a major event on Grand Anse Beach. They call it a cool down, but it was very heated from what I understand. Were you involved in that one?
I can't say
Oh,
that.
that was private sector.
Private sector.
Private sector.
Private sector and private sector at this point. But I think that it's going back to our previous conversation that we had a few weeks ago. Right, I think that we have such a wonderful product already established in Spice Mass. We have a lot of visitors in country and state during that period of time, right? So there's a lot of cool down activities going on. Grand Anse Beach, there was a comedy show, there are a lot of different things happening. But I also like to take this opportunity to also give Carriacou and Petit Martinique a plug, right?
Yep.
Before you head back to wherever you came from, the US, Trinidad, or wherever, take a time, go to the sister island. You'll cool down the best on Paradise Beach, Sandy Island. And so what I'm saying is that, the state of Grenada has a lot to offer. We do have that direct service where you could fly up there in 20 minutes. You're going to be in Carriacou. And you got some of the most beautiful, gorgeous waters in the world. Go support that economy right now, especially post-Beryl. The accommodation is coming back on stream. And I think that is a great place. If you go for a day, or you go for a couple of days before you head back out on the weekend, because you might have just stayed for the entire week, enjoy Carriacou and Petit Martinique as well. So there's a lot for everybody to do, right? There's going to be enough on the shows. There's a motorcade today in St. David. There's everything's happening. But we want to make sure that our sister island is also included in that.
Yeah, of course.
And you go there, you relax, get some relaxation, reconnect a little bit before you head back, into the bigger world.
Absolutely. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep, visit Carriacou, Petit Martinique.
Absolutely.
The lives if possible, yep.
Because
As
that was
part of the
original
cool-down process.
We had a Carriacou Carnival cool down.
Yeah.
But then Beryl,
knocked it off.
not exactly.
Yeah.
But we are going to get back to that point because we want to be responsible. Where you're here, we're also spending money in other locations in the state of Grenada, and supporting their economy as well.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
And it's a wonderful experience, right? So you're not just saying just go to go,
And
but you're going to be definitely rewarded, by what you see and find.
Member of Parliament Evan Andrew, he's proud of what Carriacou is now becoming.
Absolutely.
The expansion and so forth that has taken place there. You have to say almost thanks to Beryl.
But that's the thing, right? There's always
opportunities out of these,
in the crisis.
Always.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point. So now we get the ability to recreate, rebuild stronger, better, more resiliently. And even go see the Underwater Sculpture Park, because that's what
Yeah.
the Underwater Sculpture Park in Carriacou
Yep.
speaks about. We have the one here that's
Yeah.
also an Otter Spice Mass with our traditional mass players. But go see the one in Carriacou as well that talks about resilience.
Yep. Well, I mean, I ain't going and diving, so
You
I'll
can
let the
snorkel.
visitors
You
do
can
that.
snorkel.
Now, a lot of folks out of New York did not make it for Carnival simply because of the perceived condition. Some of them may have anticipated if they travel to Grenada, they're not too sure whether they'll be accepted back into the United States based on what is happening globally. Well, not globally, but just within the United States. With the next launch of Carnival, would you still launch in New York, or would you consider maybe Toronto or somewhere else?
Well, it is a dynamic situation. You know, we would look at what we think is best. Because for most part, even in terms of the launch, even this year, we were not directly involved in actual launch. We actually see it as a case that in terms of selling and promotion of the island, there are certain things you can do a certain amount of, and then you need to look elsewhere. So it is something that we are in fact looking at in terms of where else we may want to go to do an actual Spice Mass launch. And this is really based on the marketing aspect of it. You know, I think we in terms of the numbers coming in out of New York, I think we very well said it. I think the message is very clear there. So it's not absolutely, in my opinion, a need to do that. I think we ought to look
But there
elsewhere.
are so many other hundreds of persons who would have liked to come
But
to
then we
Spice
need
Mass.
we need 3 planes instead of 2 services a day
Yeah.
But-
out of New York, because we have the 2 daily JetBlue flights
Yeah,
flying
I know.
out of New York, and they was flying full.
You
Caribbean
need more than
Airlines
that. Yeah.
was flying full.
You
So
need more than
although
that.
there might be more who desire to come, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. We don't even have the capacity on the planes to actually able to put them. And going back,
But you also have the issue of accommodation online.
Yeah,
but that's the whole point,
So
right?
it's a
That's
chicken and
what
egg
it is.
situation.
It is.
Well,
Which one comes first?
well, in this case, we know which one comes first, right? You know what I mean? If you don't have no room stock, you're not going to fly empty planes.
Yeah.
But at the end, but going back to the original point, right? Grenada is our largest diaspora hub outside of Grenada. New York, sorry. New York is the largest, right?
Yeah.
So we always going to have to start, in my opinion, the GTA markets heavily in New York, and because on the Northeast, holistically, we get most Americans coming into the destination.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Grenadians who can go back and forth, traverse that, right? Because you know because they have the ability to do so. So even when Spice Mass is over, the GT is still promoting Spice Mass,
Yeah.
and we have specific target markets where we promote the brand as well.
Right.
And then we do the launches, collaborate with Spice
Yeah.
Mass Corp, and then we work together to, collaborate when we need to. But we're always promoting, and so we cannot just, not go to New York, in my opinion.
No.
This is just from the
Yeah.
GTA's opinion. Canada, all these markets are all key, crucial, and important.
That's correct.
And especially as geopolitical issues, and there's a sort of shift from, how the U.S., will move forward, especially with their economy, etc. We also have to ensure that we continue to diversify. So to your point of where else do we look, we do have to put more emphasis and focus on other locations as well.
Right.
But New York would never be left alone.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
It's always like the heartbeat.
That's
It is
how-
a heartbeat. That is a heartbeat.
Yeah, but the diversifying is definitely important, I think, yeah.
Absolutely, so indeed. Now, with the launch will always come in May, or the dates will shift?
No, the dates can shift, but it's always around the the beginning of May that time, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So how do we deal now with what is now considered? Once they announce Carnival launch, jab start. How do we deal with that?
But listen, again, these are some matters that will create different discussions. In my opinion, Carnival, the launch of Carnival is the launch of Carnival. Now, if we really thinking of JAB as something that is really unique and special to us, my opinion on that is that we wouldn't want it to be quote-unquote watered down. And I think what happened is that if, for example, we say we launch Mass in May and people want to start playing JAB on the road in May, I think that is what it's kind of the effect it will eventually have. But I think it should be an event where it still have that level of well, I won't call it suspense, but people want it, yeah. So people want to come the Monday morning to see what's going to happen and not be seeing it every day or every Sunday on the street. I mean, it's something that, you know, and that's my take on it. I think we just want to make sure it is kept in a way that give that kind of audience feel, that kind of perspective that I want to see what's going to happen, and not that I'm seeing it all the time, so it doesn't make a difference.
I'll give you an example. We were supporting an individual making a film here in Grenada about Jab, Call of the Jab, and making a film about that. And if they could just not go to Carnival, because they see guys playing Jab everywhere. I mean, you could get a lot of the B-roll, you could get a lot of that just at any time. It's almost what we're sort of insinuating, right? But the reference of the Jab, show up on Carnival, and that whole idea of bringing it out for Spice Mass, and it comes out in its full numbers and flurry, and you see it all. That's something that I think we should, keep sacred as well. But to the point, right? I'll make this point this the other day as well. Remember, we play Jab 2 times a year in Grenada, in the state of Grenada, because we have Kayak Mass.
We do.
We have 2 carnivals essentially. There's Kayak Mass and then there's Spice Mass. So I mean, it's and I think that is again another great selling point for us for the destination, that again accentuates all of Spice Mass holistically. The 2 carnivals, exactly.
No, the Prime Minister made a statement regarding the Jab coming out early. Do you think that had a direct positive impact on the turnout of Jab this year? And should he make a similar statement next year?
We can't answer for that.
We can. You have to ask him directly.
Yes.
But I think that ultimately, the effect of the jab has been growing year to year, stronger and stronger. Right? We can't dispute that.
Yeah,
well, at the same time, you want to see the other mass start growing as well. Like the Play Cool. I'm upset that Honorable Quincy Britton is not here right now, because I've been asking him to play Play Cool for the longest while, because I would love to play Play Cool. Shortney is coming along, and so we have so much more to grow in the sense of those traditional mass. But at the same time, Jab it's a draw. But when it get drawn into the destination, into a Spice Mass, you can see everything else that sort of exists that goes with it, right? Sort of it raises the bar of the entire event. But ultimately I think that if Jab is something that's been on the radar globally. Even when Housewives were here, they had a whole big segment. Closed the carnage for them. They played Jab. There were a lot of people intrigued. So we introduced a whole demographic, a new demographic, to the Spice Mass and Jab essentially. So it's something that is sort of eye-catching. But it doesn't have to define us, is what I'm saying. Because there's a lot more that goes in and defines us than Spice Mass. But it's sort of like, I would say it's a lead attraction to Spice Mass.
And of course, being the lead attraction, it caused people to come. But when people come, they must be able to see everything else we have to offer.
Right. Yeah? Now, question for you. There were, at least I witnessed a few foreigners or visitors, I'll put it that way, who wanted to get oil down. They just wanted to feel part of the whole experience.
The cuisine aspect of it.
Do you think they may have a need for establishing certain booths in strategic locations with persons showing them how to get blackened, put it that way? Because you can't just put the oil on.
That's the oil long you're talking about, the black oil long.
Yes, the black oil long.
I thought you were talking about food.
I thought you were talking about cuisine.
I thought you were talking about food,
I thought it was that.
No, I'm talking about it. Blackened oil.
But having said that, do I honestly believe, and I would just roll it a little bit, I honestly believe the cuisine aspect of what we do in Spice Mass is also significant. Very, very important. So things like the oil long that we eat, I think it's something that we have to find a creative way of having it as part of the festival, of the package.
But I'm talking about the
actual oil long
down for playing Jab. Foreigners want to get oil down, so they must, and not the food oil down, I'm talking about the black tar oil down. So Spice Mass, in my opinion, should have some tents. You want to get come down. You want to play jab? Come here. We show you how to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the case of Spice Mass, we did not do that specifically on our own, but we had discussions with some of the leading jab bands in terms of doing that, to the extent that we actually told them, hey, if you create your pigment and you give it to us, we'll help you sell it, we'll help you promote it. But we were not getting into the actual production of the pigment.
Right, yeah.
And even when we did things like the Carnival City, that was part of the plan. Part of it came true. One of the jab band was there. But we want to be able to extend on that, whereby the jab bands working along with us, we can have people learn about the pigment, how to apply it, how to clean it off, how it is made. And we think it is something that needs to be done. It's kind of similar to what I said earlier on, having the young people involved, whether it's the wire bending, and the creation of the costumes. It's a package, it's something that we need to be creative about, and we need to have more people directly involved. So whether it's our local, and you say foreign, but even our local people, I think the whole history of it, the educational aspect of it is something that we need to share. Maybe by doing that, there'll be a greater appreciation for it. Because we still hear sometimes some of the negative inclination about the jab. And I think if we do that from an educational standpoint, as well in a physical sense in terms of what is being done, it will help.
So here's an opportunity to involve the Grenada National Museum to promote a particular or special event, just to educate visitors on Grenada's carnival and the various aspects of it, Vaco, short knee, jab, etc. And they can pay a money to go and sit and listen to the presentations.
Yeah.
But the tourism authority has also been taking an active role in promoting that and asking, well, advising, this is what you do, grease down before. We actually did a video, using the song Grease It Down, the artist, Dreadline, promoting, well, you grease down before and then you apply, whichever, the oil or charcoal or whatever you choose to play with. But also, I would even say that it's a great opportunity again for the retailers to, or the jab bands to go out to promote their products and get more in front of it. So they know that this is our assembly points, this is where they meet, they get your oil here. Right. There's no shortage of oil on the road. You play it on the road, there's no shortage of oil.
Oil engine oil, fresh tar.
But I would also like to say that, I had an educational experience this carnival. Because I thought that, I consider myself a jab purist. Play the engine oil.
All right.
But, if you look back on history, and again, I'm free to be, I stand corrected if I am in fact wrong, but it starts with molasses, right? So jab doesn't have to be engine oil. That doesn't mean that it was played like that for generations, but that doesn't mean that is what jab came out of, right? Engine oil. But so playing with charcoal this year,
right?
For the first time, I was
much healthier.
It's much healthier because I'm impressed by that. I was like, actually, I never thought about the health
easier
benefits
to clean.
of charcoal, because charcoal is easier to clean.
Yep.
It is also has good purity for your skin, right? Exfoliation, etc. Is also better for an environment, right? Now maybe there's aspects of the charcoal that some may not like, because there's pros and cons. But I would say it's a much better product than using the engine oil. So to all of you who I blasted before saying you must play with the engine oil, I take that back.
This is something to promote, actually.
But it's something that we should look at now promoting, because now I've been educated and I'm seeing the light a little bit. You can see, amongst the job that we could play with charcoal, and we could also look to play with more sustainable products. Because if again, the original thing is the molasses, and if we're not playing with molasses, and everything else is sort of like adaptation.
Molasses and charcoal could be a nice mix.
Whatever it is, but we have to look at moving forward, right? Continuing. So not because one generation introduced engine oil means that we have to stick with it.
Right.
And especially you see the cleanup, and you see the roadways.
Yeah.
After you see the mess afterward. We say this once a year to try to justify it, but at the end of the day, let's continue to look for alternatives that are healthier for us, that are better for us, and continue to keep the destination clean and pure.
Absolutely. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we would open up the lines, but I'm told by my professional IT team that that would not be possible. So my apologies to Senator Quince Britton out of Victoria, who was hoping to make his contribution
and
on telephone, and also the Flying Turkey out of New York. Our apologies. Hopefully we can have them in next week and to talk about further post-carnival activities.
I'd like to just give a quick shout out to them as well. We share the same minister for tourism and culture.
Yes.
They've been doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
They've been very committed, supporting us on the front in ensuring that we have the resources to execute the things that we have to do, the things that we could continue to work close together. And they're committed, and
Absolutely.
you see them very much involved in planning, executing, and ensuring that the government is giving all the support to really see that the culture thrives, because they do take it to heart. It really matters to them.
Oh, yeah.
And we appreciate that, because we appreciate having those ministers and Senator Britton, really involved and ensuring that they want to see the success of this, and been supporting both Tourism Authority and Spice Mass Corp.
Yeah.
Right.
So definitely like to give a shout out to them, since they're not able to be here in person to say that.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate their efforts and commitment to the culture and to tourism.
Absolutely.
I definitely like
presentation by
Yeah,
Senator
Minister.
Adrian Thomas was indeed all-embracing. I don't think he missed anyone or anything in his presentation, which we shared a while ago. So we thank him also too.
No, but
for
it's
his
the
contribution.
support that we receive from both the minister as well as the parliamentary sec, Britain, Queens, it has been tremendous. I can't think of any time when we call on them for whatever it is and they have not been there to support and assist. So I too want to just say thank you in a big way to the both individual as well as the ministry for the support which we have received from them. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
And Quince will always be, I'm sure he would have walked with his conch shell this morning and give it on low.
I love to see his
To send home the
enthusiasm.
message.
Oh, yeah,
Always
so-
there, very
There was
enthusiastic.
one conch shell on the March Gras night. And when I look around, was Quince.
Yeah, Quince.
I didn't hear any other. Say, well, he's a true mass man.
Yeah. No, but that's dedication, and it shows the success, shows the dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, coming back to the workings of Carnival, the huge trucks. People are still commenting about the huge trucks. Is there a way this could be minimized, or we just have to live with it?
I believe there's a way it can be minimized, but we would need some, if I may say, form of support in terms of some policy direction. Because we actually did a check. If we say in a mass ban, it's approximately, let's say 1,200 people. When we did a count in terms of what you need, approximately one of those trucks should be able to carry the music to sustain a band of, say, 600. And there's really no need to have 3 and 4 trucks on the road. And for various reasons. The good thing about it, we did the experiment, and it was able to work in terms of going over on the carnage and the trucks being able to turn. But quite frankly, it is and could be a serious deterrent in other aspects when you have trucks sometime unnecessarily stopped, or should I say parked, and causing hindrance to other people. And we have seen some of that this year. It's an area that we need to address and work on. But for most part, I think we need to remember the big trucks is really not, quote unquote, a Grenada something. You see that in places where the roads are bigger and can easily be accommodated. So if it's something that's going to happen, the number has to be of a lesser amount.
So that's true, and I think that it's. I support that, because you look at the size of the trucks and the size of our roads. But at the same time, I think that when we have to be mindful of how we are growing Spice Mass, because if we are going to get 1,000 more hotel rooms in short order, for example, projects that are coming on the way, you're going to have more revelers on the road, and the reveler these days are expecting a higher quality of presentation, essentially, from what they're buying.
Quote unquote experience.
Well, the experience has to be at a higher standard, right? So, they won't expect to have toilets, because, again, we're a global brand. Spice Mass is global.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you getting, and how does in other locations, and how does that compare to what you're going to get in Grenada, right? So you have, unless you're looking at getting another 1,000 next year, additional revelers. You're looking at getting, in 5 years, we might get 5,000 more revelers. So how many trucks do we need?
Yep.
Do we have to start reimagining alternative routes, for example?
That's the point I was going to make.
Because that's where we're sort of heading. If we are going to continue to scale what we do have and scale it and not without compromising quality, how do we do so? right? So it may not necessarily be, well, we need to have these massive trucks, but we don't want to also compromise the quality of the experience that you're getting, because you don't want them to start shopping around saying, well, Spice Mass is good, but I could pay Fancy Mass anywhere else and get a much better quality experience. We want to ensure that we continue to push the bar up. We have the best Juve, Monday Night Mass, and everything else that goes with it, the safest country, Grenada, and then you also then now competing on Fancy Mass, ensuring that we get more Grenadians involved in the Fancy Mass, the production of it locally, the judging, and bring that up to par with the best carnivals around the region. No, Spice Mass is unstoppable. So I think that we really do have to think forward, about the next 10 years. Where do we want to go? How do we get more visitors coming in? And are we able to accommodate them?
Right.
And that's going to be important.
The question of accommodation is really critical, because I answered to the question of the truck based on where we are now, where the routes are now. But if it's something that has to be sustained in any way and even increase, we cannot and will not be able to use the existing routes.
That's correct. That much as you can see is obvious.
Let me just take a pin and say goodbye to those who are listening on radio, and to invite them to join us online, because it's 1 o'clock already.
Okay.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Quickly.
So we'll be continuing just for a few minutes more as we wrap up this segment. So we want to just officially thank all the radio listeners, those who listened on WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got 100.5 out of Labby in Grenville. So please join us online on the NDC Facebook online platform. So, coming back to Carnival now. Like my Carnival shirt?
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah, so the assembling aspect of revelers for the Monday Night Mass, that was work. You are satisfied that that went well, or there's still hiccups there?
There are just a few little hiccups, and I think, again, as you said when you started, I don't think we ought to try to hide anything when they do happen. I still believe in terms of things like road closure and the assistance from like marshals and so. I think those are two of the areas that we really need. A lot of work was done this year, but we still need to do more to ensure that these aspects of it are even tighter and better organized, so as to assist with a better start, better flow of what happening. And that's not just for Monday Night Mass, but I could say it for whether it's the pageant or the Juve. These are some of the little things that, from what I noticed, that if we fix them that little bit more, we'll get better results.
All right. Ronald, do you think that our local business community, be it micro, small, medium, large, are taking advantage of the opportunities for developing mementos? For folks traveling back, they can purchase a package or cup or this or that. Mementos representing Spice Mass Corporation. Are they taking advantage of that?
Well, I think I'll go back to the partnership with Spice Mass Corp and those other businesses. But I think what is very clear is there's demand. What is very clear is there's a market. Right. So we'll encourage private sector to get involved, to capitalize on opportunities that exist. The fact that we're filling these planes, someone gave a joke that they said the plane's coming in dragging into Grenada. Right? But the fact that you have an attentive audience, an audience who has spending power, purchase power, and they are willing to participate. So there's opportunity, and that's the whole point of creating these festivals, is for the economic benefit to the destination, right? Which primarily includes the private sector. So even going back to the food that you're speaking about, there's opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of individuals visiting that were asking, where do I get oil long? And I couldn't tell them. And those places who did have oil long, they sold out like that.
Oh yes.
Right?
Go on.
It's very quick. But this is just across the board now. This is even outside of Spice Mass. Because it doesn't have to be just for Spice Mass, but visitors want more of that local authentic experience. That is a visitor profile who's coming to Grenada. So where do you even get a cocoa tea? I keep my own little tea today, but where do I get a cocoa tea?
Exactly.
Where do you get, something? Right.
Yeah.
That's because, again, our national food can't be chicken and chips.
No.
Because that's all you can get on the road.
All
you can get at the road is chicken and chips. That's not our national food. That's not our national dish. And Grenada should be known for that.
Blue.
Exactly. So But I think it's time for innovation. I think it's time that we raise the bar, but it's really encouraging, the private sector to do that, because there's only so much chicken and chips I could buy from every stall, right? When I'm hungry and we're out there, you want a healthier option,
Right.
So let's continue to be innovative. Let's continue to push the bar, not just with Spice Mass, but all the time.
Yeah.
That you want to ensure that you give the visitors a great experience, not just from the mass, but they eat, something that's
Culinary
really
aspect.
local. Exactly. That's all part of the appeal that is Spice Mass. And when they're leaving, they could buy the trinkets that you mentioned. They could do more because the opportunity exists. It's there.
Yep.
You have a market that's there, willing, able, and ready. Take advantage. So we always continue to encourage them to do so.
But realizing that a lot of our people, especially the micro and small businesses, they're always a little bit slow on the uptake. Can Spice Mass and Tourism GTA work together with these folks to say, look, instead of doing this, why don't you expand into that and get some creatives to actually create some of these small products that can be now sold to.
I agree with that, but I think that at some point, that's why you have like the chamber. That's why you have all of these organizations that are established,
correct.
private sector
I haven't heard
establishments.
about the chamber in a long time.
We are statutory bodies.
Yes.
We're
indeed.
government-run agencies.
Indeed.
And
So-
so imagine government coming in and
Push.
saying,
Yeah, not
So-
saying get going.
yeah, no, but we want you to get going. We want them to get going. I mean,
Exactly.
And we ask them to get going.
Yeah.
But I think it goes beyond that. But that's reality. 'Cause a lot of what you're saying, I mean, even ourselves as Spice Mass, we too are engaged in terms of having product for sale, memorabilia and so forth. But I think for most part, as Randall is saying, we are encouraging people to do it. But who helps you? Who hold your hand and bring you along? It may not be the Spice Mass or it may not be the
I mean,
GTA.
Yeah,
You
so,
understand?
okay,
Right.
maybe a collaboration with Chamber of Commerce. So we need to wake up the engine in Chamber of Commerce and,
no, but we're happy that, again, we're happy. We're not saying this to sort of just say that, they're not involved. I'm saying that there's opportunity, and I think this is where the private
A lot of
sector
opportunity.
really has to sort of step up. They have
Yeah.
to see the opportunity that's there. We're ensuring that the visitors are arriving. Spice Mass is ensuring that they have a good product,
Yeah.
right? So we could bring you to the well. Right, but I think so. Ultimately, what has to happen
Can't
is
make you
that,
drink at
yeah,
all.
that has to convert, because then you have to decide that as a business person from the private sector, that this investment would be worth my while, and we're showing you the opportunities that exist. So imagine we do all of that. So imagine that the GTS Spice Pass now start drinking the water. We shouldn't be drinking the water, because the whole point is to stimulate economic activity,
Exactly.
to drive that, to see that, oh, there's demand here. But unfortunately, what happens is sometimes we wait for a foreigner to come in and do it.
yeah, and then
And
we start
then
cursing.
they say,
Yes,
well,
yes.
look, this is what happened, but the opportunity exists right now. And we are committed going forward to ensuring that we continue to get the best product and make sure that the most of the accommodations that we could allow
Which is
for
our,
an airlift.
which is
Yeah,
what
because
we're
they-
here to do.
This is our function, and this is
Yes.
what we do. So we're
Exactly.
trying to do it well. We're now creating that opportunity for entrepreneurs to thrive.
Yeah.
Because the Taxi Association should have promoted a Spice store, Spice Mass store.
No, but they
can
do.
Visit,
They do.
visit the
They do.
various
They do.
camps and what have you, and see how things are done.
There are individuals who are doing that.
One-on-one.
Yeah, but that's
Go
the
to the
point,
front
right?
place,
But
yeah.
there are individuals who are doing that because these things are up and running. So the individuals who are taking advantage of it is not happening at scale as we would prefer it to happen. But the individuals who are taking advantage, seeing the opportunity, and making the best of it. So we do applaud those individuals, and now encouraging others to get involved.
Now,
Because,
can
uh,
our airport handle what is happening? Traffic.
Well, no, I was
in
just going
and
to make
out.
another point.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I know there are some entities that encourage that. So, for example, you'll have people who would pick up some of the yachties, bring them to certain place to hear the pan music, and at that same time get something like an oil long to eat. So there are people who already see the niche and are working on it. I mean, I look at some of them on a night mass band, and when you check the trinkets that they bring in to be a part of the display on the road, are things that people actually save and go back with. So there are people who see the need for it and already engage in doing it. But we just need, from a collective standpoint, for more people to buy into it and make it happen. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we have come to the end of the Heartbeat for yet another Sunday afternoon. So let me invite you to have your final closing comments. before you get back here next time very soon.
Well, no, again, thank you again for the opportunity to sit here. Thank you for the opportunity, this platform, that's Heartbeat, so we can continue to spread the good word of what we're doing. We're committed to ensuring that we provide the best quality services to the destination, right? So the Tourism Authority is fully supported behind Spice Mass Corp, the product, developing it, promoting it year round. So we're happy for that opportunity. But again, the whole thing goes back to the fact that tourism in Grenada is not about our beaches, but it's not just about the hotels, but it's about a collective experience.
Yep.
So I'd like to thank everyone who participated in Carnival, who made it this wonderful event, because really, I'm applauding the people of Grenada.
Yep.
I'm applauding the people of Grenada to, you know, the fact that we had a safe carnival. We had a very enjoyable carnival. We had a carnival, again, that, you know, that people could go back and speak about. They have now become our salespersons.
Yeah.
The Tourism Authority every year brings a number of international journalists and press. And this year, I mean, they had a wonderful time. And I think that we are onto something big. Let's continue to grow it. Let's continue to do our best to make it happen. But it goes back to the people of Grenada, them buying in collectively to this and supporting it and doing collectively, all of us doing our part to make it better, which includes maybe not driving. It includes just I'm being responsible. And it includes being courteous to all, not just visitors, but to our own. So, and again, special thanks to the police force and everyone else for making this happen. So we are proud of the event that we had this year, and we look forward to a bigger, better event in 2025. So thank you again. This 26. So we look forward to again continuing our wonderful partnership with Spice Mass, our wonderful support from our government and representatives that, you know, who are again fully behind this and ensuring that they will do everything to make it successful. And again, for these platforms to continue to spread the good word and the message. So thank you.
Now, the comment I made earlier on about the airport being able to handle this increased traffic, one thing that is noticeable, when you arrive and you leave the arrival area, this huge rock that you see there, can they put a rolling screen showing excerpts of Carnival so psychologically you have the people's mindset already tuned in?
We support the airport authority as much as we can. I think they do a lot with what they do have, and I commend them for that. They're always looking to improve the airport and the experience at the airport, especially when we're handling high volumes of traffic. But I'll let them comment on that. You know, there's ideas that we will take back, we will share with them. There's always another way to, or multiple ways to make the experience better. And the Tourism Authority, you know, we will share, you know, our ideas with them and work along with them to support them however best we can. But I know they're on it. I know they are committed as well to making sure the experience is better, making sure that we continue to promote the destination, the tri-island state, that's Grenada, and ensure that visitors, again, leave with the best impression and arrive, you know, looking forward to a wonderful stay.
Well, that was a truly diplomatic response. Thank you very much. CEO Spice Mass Corporation,
Well, it's
you've
quite-
had a huge responsibility on your hand, managing Spice Mass. Your final comments.
Huge as it has been. And the truth be told, I don't like the purpose of being repetitive, so I'm not going to go there. I think Randall said a lot of what needs to be said. But I think even the whole question of people in the media saying thanks to them, I think, you know, they play a really critical role in terms of what happened with regards to Spice Mass, whether it's the promotion of the event, whether it's the different tips that go out in terms of what should and shouldn't be done. So I just want to say thanks to all the people in the media fraternity. And of course, as we continue to look forward to Spice Mass 2026, I think it's a matter of us learning from the experiences of 2025. The things that went well for us to build on those. The things that were not as well, for us to seriously look at what we can do to fix them and make them better. And I think collectively, in terms of the Spice Mass Corporation, the government, the different entities, GTA and others, once we work together and collaborate as one, I think there's no stopping us in terms of continuing to ensure Spice Mass is the best mass by far.
Well, that sounds like a line a Calypsonian might pick up on.
So good, it will be a good line.
There's a line coming out from this year, right? LITT, right?
Yes.
Life in the Tropics. That song is going to go viral,
Oh,
right?
right.
So it is going viral across the
Well,
world,
well.
and I think it's a great patriotic song as well
Mm-hmm.
that came out of it. But also, I like to commend Spice Mass on some of the workshops that they held as well. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh.
Yeah, but they held a lot of workshops
Right.
to try to improve the quality of the
Fantastic.
product by working with artists and everyone else. So
Wonderful.
kudos again to Spice Mass,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to a wonderful year going forward.
I guess they've been seeing us a lot, right? They've seen us a lot. Yes.
Well, thank you, gentlemen,
It's a
for being
pleasure.
part of the Heartbeat
Thank you.
today.
Yes,
Well,
thanks.
really a pleasure having you all. And
Same here.
let me thank
Same
all
here.
our listeners and viewers who participated in our podcast today. We want to thank Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas for his message earlier on. He's the Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Culture. Also Senator Britton, who is also the parliamentary representative responsible for culture. And to you, gentlemen, what can I say? The Heartbeat is always open for whenever you wish to come and share. Don't
Thank
wait
you.
for Carnival or just after Carnival, because this thing is going to start really boiling.
Yes.
So, and thank you all for being part of the Heartbeat today, and check us again next Sunday when we have another equally stimulating and interesting conversation to share with you. So, Roger and out. Until next Sunday. Have a great Sunday afternoon. It's beautiful out there for Grandance Beach and all our beaches and elsewhere. So continue to enjoy the meltdown or the cool down of Carnival. And see you again, for those of you leaving, see you again next year when we have real action taking place. It will be explosive. So have a great Sunday afternoon and goodbye until next week.